Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mining Now. We are filming episodes from SME in Phoenix, Arizona, and we've already done some. We did 4 yesterday. We're going to do 4 more today, and a couple more tomorrow. And this is a bit of a unique show because it's everybody. We've got Tunnel Radio on today, but we've had companies that are releasing new products into the market. We've got train manufacturers. Of course, the sensors, things for supporting walls, and it's just crazy stuff. Anyway, we've got JJ Craig. He is the Solution Sales Executive at Tunnel Radio. JJ, it's great to have you on the show. You're our communications representative. I think you're the only company like yourself that's on the show for this event. So welcome. Great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, can you just give us some background on Tunnel Radio, who they are, where they come from, things like that?
Absolutely. So Tunnel Radio is a communications company that is right here in the USA in Corvallis, Oregon. We are a woman-owned company, and it's a small company with a very large impact. We're very important when it comes to the mining industry, and we take it very seriously. And it's just a great place.
We've got a lot to cover in just the different setups. We'll talk a little bit about I think especially in the underground space, we're going to look at it a little bit. But what's your background in the industry?
So let's go back to when I was a baby. So I'm a coal miner's son. So this industry is near and dear to my heart. My dad was in an accident in the mine, almost lost his arm, and there was safety equipment in place and procedures that saved his arm. And so that has always been, I guess, in the back of my mind. And for the last 10 years, I've been in the mining space, selling, trying to improve safety.
What did you ever get a chance to work in any of those, the coal mines and that, or did you go a different route right off the bat out of high school?
No, so typical, went to college, got a business degree, but I got right into sales. I've always been a people person, love dealing with people. And so I've done that throughout my career. And then the opportunity opened itself a little over 10 years ago to work in the mining space. And it was like perfect fit.
How did you end up with Tunnel Radio?
In the mining space, I used to work for a competitor quite a few years back. So I knew Tunnel Radio well. I knew their product, and I knew their customers because I was always trying to, talk them into coming to the other company. So I've been in the mining space, and obviously, your career ebbs and flows, and you get, maybe unhappy here and there. So saw the advertisement, threw it in there, and I knew the CEO of the company, and he knew me. So we went through the interview process, and everything just clicked, and here I am, 2 years later, still with them.
What is your when you're talking to people, especially on the sales side, is you don't have that much time to really show real value, especially in the mining industry. If people don't think you have value, there's too much money at stake. There's too much risk. When you're talking about safety, we'll get into that in a bit. They're just not going to give you the time of day if you don't have a clear value. When you're at an event like this, let's say someone doesn't know Tunnel Radio, where are you able to say, this is something we deliver every time? You just know they're going to get it.
I think I go back to, this company has a communication system up in Alaska, and it has been in there since the 80s, over 30 years. They are still our customer. The first customer is still our customer, and their system still works. Granted, we do upgrades and we fix, we repair because it's mining, but they're still happy and it still works. So with that kind of a track record, your first customer is still your customer and they're still happy.
It's incredible. So that was installed in the 80s. So does that a lot of the clients when let's say it's that, I don't know if you're able to say who that is, but if that client now, do they end up on, some of these mines, they own multiple projects. So is that sort of the setup? Like, will Tunnel Radio be in 10 different mines owned by the same company?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was a good question. And it's Hecla mine up in Alaska.
Oh, they've been on the show.
I'm pointing to the table because it's right here. But yeah, so yes, they've given us permission to obviously use their name and in their case study.
Well, Hecla's been on the show. They're great supporters of the show. So it's a good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour, brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. MineTech helps mine sites like yours improve their safety, profitability, and compliance with world-class sound attenuation, water management, underground ventilation, and electrical solutions, enabling their customers to make and save millions of dollars through increased production, limited downtime, automation, and reduced energy consumption. Relied upon by more than 3,200 sites across 25 countries, their global team is standing by to offer end-to-end support and custom solutions for noisy mining machinery, toxic mine water of all qualities, metalliferous underground ventilation, and evolving electrical needs. Learn what MineTech could do for your site. Visit minetech.com/innovation. The mining industry is navigating a significant transformation driven by electrification, critical mineral dependency, and net zero targets. But balancing daily operations and capital projects can be overwhelming. Burns & McDonnell is your trusted EPC partner, supporting projects from concept to completion. With more than 125 years of experience, they stand ready to help the mining industry meet the demands of the energy transition. Visit burnsmcd.com to learn more.
So, what is onboarding like? This is the other one of these questions. I don't know if anybody's interested in talking about it, but I'm always interested in it from the operations side. I'm always interested in the first stages because that's where you kind of make or break it. So is it like a bidding process? Do people reach out? Is it put out for tender? How do you actually get into some of these projects?
So I think it's different situation for situation. Most of the time, they do have to put it out for bid. So you obviously are just one of the many that are in the list. You propose your product, you propose your solution, and also your pricing, and then you move forward from there. Some are very cut and dry. They look at price and make sure they're comparing apples to apples, which is very hard to do in this space, in my opinion. So that's one process. The other one is, like you mentioned earlier, you have customers that have 12 underground mines, and maybe I'm in 4 of them, and the system's working great. And then you got another mine that goes offline and they're having issues with. That's when they bring me in and say, okay, how can we use your products to solve this problem we're having at this mine? And then it grows and grows. So that's the sales dream. That way you get all the mines and you just keep all your customers happy.
When you're saying you're not comparing apples to apples, what do you see? I'm not, of course, not asking to call it a competitor. I'm just talking about the technical specifications, service, whatever it is that you're delivering. What makes it apples to oranges when you're comparing, price, what you're actually delivering, that sort of thing. Where do you see? I guess you're not seeing other companies' quotes, but you've worked for another company. Where do you see the differentiation?
We do voice communications, and we do it better than anybody else in the industry. Now, you can do voice in different ways. We utilize the Leaky feeder system, a radiating cable that broadcasts RF signal. There are companies out there that use a Wi-Fi signal, so voice over IP, and they use that solution. Even though they do the same thing, it's not really apples to apples because they do different things.
What is the advantage to the Leaky feeder system?
Robust. It's miners are tough. They are tough on equipment. They're tough environments. They're harsh. It is the most rugged, most robust communication system that you could provide in an underground environment. Wi-Fi hotspots are great for certain things, but not for voice. They're just not as reliable as our Leaky feeder system.
And when you say reliable, it's just the ability to get the voice from point A to point B. Is that what we're talking about?
Absolutely. Being able to communicate via voice underground to topside to everywhere else in the mine is critical. Whether it's safety, whether it's production, for whatever reasons, you need to be able to talk. And Leaky feeder is robust, and it just works well. It's been around for many, many years. The technology has advanced, and it's gotten better, easier to maintain, but it still provides the same solution, which is clear voice communications.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I've got a cable hanging on. There's lots of ways to do radio where you can do these talk shows with you can do it off different systems. But at the end of the day, we use this system because it works every time. There is no exception.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that when you talked about like that Hecla mine? I'm glad you mentioned them because they had a great interview with us. So
nice.
When you mentioned that original mine in the 80s, when you say upgrades, what kind of upgrades go into a system over the span of, I guess that's 40, That's 40 over 40
It's
years
almost
ago.
40 years. Yeah.
I was just
Yeah, it's
listening to the
crazy.
radio. They were doing they were playing songs that were now throwback songs that seemed like they were yesterday. It was really scary. It was a
My
really,
music's on the oldie station
yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah, really awful segment of the radio. I don't know why they would do that to people driving to work. But anyway, yes, I guess that's over 40 years ago. What kind of upgrades go into a system like that?
There are several. One of them is one of our partners is Motorola, and those are the handhelds that people use that they talk on. Obviously, very critical component. Motorola is the best. That's why we partner with them. And their handhelds have advanced over the years, and a lot of them have different features and benefits. So that's one way to upgrade, obviously. The other one is our actual equipment that we manufacture has got more and more advanced. One of the best advancements, in my opinion, is auto gain control. So miners don't want to worry about their communication. They do not want to have to worry about their communication system functioning. So the easier we make it, the better it is for them. So that we use auto gain control. Auto gain control basically tunes the amplifier. That way, they have clear communication without going down and physically adjusting it themselves. So that was one major advancement in our equipment in the last several years.
And so does that become now standard, or can some do?
Absolutely. Yes. I think we only have one mine utilizing our old amplifiers because they didn't want the new for whatever reason. But yeah, everybody's now using the self-tuning amplifiers. Yes.
What are the biggest questions you get at an event like this? Again, I ask these questions, and I've started asking this question because I realized I'll sit there and get all the information I want to get, maybe you're getting asked a question that the audience is sitting there going, "Can you just please answer this? This is what I actually want to know." What are some of the questions that you get at an event like this for people that are, and not the tire kickers? I mean, people that are really trying to understand if your system could be the right fit.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of people look at, because there's a lot of new technologies out there. I mean, there's LTE, there's Wi-Fi, and there's all this fast-moving data that they can utilize. And I think that's amazing for what it does, transferring data. However, when you want voice and you want it done well, there's still one solution. It's been around for many years, even though, like I said, it's advanced and gotten better and easier to use, etc. But it's what does voice best, and I'm a firm believer in that, and that's why I advocate for leaky feeder voice communications.
Is there there's all this fiber optic stuff? We've done episodes about its connectivity in underground mines as well. Is there any areas where you use like fiber optic systems that integrate with yours? Is that a thing, or are they completely separate?
So yes and no. So we do have a fiber option, and we utilize that when we can connect multiple portals of mines on the surface from portal to portal, utilizing fiber in that. However, fiber doesn't radiate a signal that you can talk via RF. So that is the place we use fiber, and I think fiber absolutely has a space in the mining industry, and that's pulling telemetry and data off of machines. But we do voice, and that's what we do, and we do it the best in the industry via leaky feeder or radiating cable.
Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graymond's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com. LiveMine is the data management solution for the digital mine, making mining operations paperless through an intuitive and easy-to-use app developed by mining professionals with decades of real-world experience, trusted by operators in 7 countries across the globe. Get better and more accurate data faster than ever and throw away your paper plods, PDF printouts, and shift sheets. Visit livemine.com.au to learn more.
Okay, so I also was wondering about just the setup of service, because you're talking about mines in Alaska, all across the U.S. I'm assuming mines in Canada as well, correct?
Correct.
Is it global? Do you service a global market, or where
We
do
do,
you?
sir. We do.
Okay.
Even though we're a small company in the U.S., we have customers all over the world. Yes.
So how do you provide this service? Like you're talking about mines being, they're harsh environments. It's so funny. I was, when you go into an underground mine, if you do these interviews, you start to almost live in a bubble because I'm in a little studio here, climate controlled, the whole deal. And then you almost start to think, oh, mining is easy. Because it's the way people talk about it on the show
Yes.
sometimes. Then when
If
you
somebody
go,
says that, they've never been in a mine.
exactly.
That's for sure.
Then you go in there, you're like, oh, this is still rugged. All the advancements, it's still a giant hole in the ground, and it is heavy equipment and explosions and the whole deal.
Absolutely.
That sort of environment, how are you providing service? To a global market.
Yes.
Technical service, replacement if things do get broken in an environment, anything like that.
Absolutely. So obviously we have 24/7 tech support, which is critical in the mining industry. You cannot have downtime in a mine. So they can always pick up the phone and always get a hold of technical support at Tunnel Radio. That is absolutely one of our most critical components for sure. Via phone. Now, across the globe, if you're in a remote country outside of the US and we can't get one of our technicians there, that's where we have some channel partners. We have them to distribution partners out there to help us.
Do with things like parts and that, and especially with upgrades and that, is it like other stuff like, I don't know, the pumping systems in mines? You have like replacement repellers and stuff like that. Is radio that, or how do you protect them in the environment? I know the people that know the radio system, they would just, this is an obvious question, but I just don't know. How do you actually protect these systems within those harsh environments? And do you have backups?
I just was dealing with a customer. So great question. Depending on your size of your mine, we would have one of our technicians look at the size of the mine, the scope of the job, and then they would also say, okay, here's what you need for backup inventory for the event of something breaking. And when I say breaking, not necessarily on our part, mines are, like you mentioned, very harsh environments, and trucks run into things and people break things. So you need to have a certain amount of inventory. So we look at the scale of the mine, then we say, okay, this is exactly what you're going to need in inventory in case something goes down. You're ready to go.
So when like your partners, let's say around the world, are they also, who's installing the systems? I guess it's a really easy question. Who's installing and repairing? Is it a technician that if it's local, you'll send out? I mean, local as in like U.S. You'll send out, and then partners. Do they actually go in and install the system? Like, just kind of walk us through what happens when someone says, "Yeah, okay, we want the system in place. It's a new mine. Go in."
Absolutely. So it's very important that every mine has staff on hand that are trained how to repair and upkeep the system. We do on-site training or in-house training. Usually it's on-site because that is the best way. We send one of our technicians on site. They walk through and they work with their people on site and train them how to fix, how to tune, and how to do everything that they need to do to keep the system up and running. We want to make sure that they are self-sufficient, they're well-trained, and they can maintain their system by themselves, but we're always there to back them up when they need it.
So these systems are not so complex once installed and put in place that you can actually train someone to come in there. They can, if something does get damaged, you get someone like me driving around on a machine, you actually can replace some of these parts.
Absolutely. I love that you put it that way. It's the simplicity of the system that makes it so robust. And so I always say when I'm speaking to a customer, I'm a sales guy. I can install this. It's that simple. Now, when it comes to the spectrum analyzer and the fine tuning of things, that's where my technical guys, I really need their assistance in the training for sure. But yeah, it's so simple. That's one of the great points of the leaky feeder system.
And just last question for you. I know you got an event. You're there to sell and not talk to me for too long. So I'll let you go here. But I just wondered for you, where is your mark? Like, where do you personally? Are you U.S.? Where do you sort of focus on in the market? Are you specific to mining? Are there other industries?
Yep. So tunnel radio services all underground confined space environments for communications. I am the mining guy. I only do mining. But we also have infrastructure that's doing tunneling, doing dams, doing the ships. We're in all different types of markets. Mining is where we cut our teeth, and it's where we thrive, and it's our biggest market share for sure. Myself, I live in Colorado. I work from home, and I travel the U.S. visiting customers and prospects, of course. So 95% of my time is spent just in the U.S.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's Tunnel Radio's first time, your first time on the show. I hope it wasn't too painful. I was sort of stumbling all over the place at the beginning, so thanks for bearing with me. I hope this goes well, and you come back on again. It was lots of fun.
Thank you so much for having us on here. And again, it was fun. And I hope that if somebody needs voice communications, they reach out to Tunnel Radio or myself.
Absolutely, JJ. And we'll have links to anybody watching. Of course, we'll have links to JJ directly. And then on his LinkedIn, we'll have links to Tunnel Radio, their LinkedIn. You can follow them, connect with JJ. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We've got plenty more episodes coming at you. So follow, share, subscribe, and suggest guests. You'll see this lineup that we've got coming from. Oh, well, this SME is part of our North American mining tour. We say North American because we also do an Australian mining tour, but we've got SME, PDAC, CIM, and Mine Expo all coming up. So it is just everybody's going to be represented in the mining industry. So keep watching, keep sharing, suggesting guests, and we will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.